today I will talk about an important issue, which is, I have discussed this earlier. I have discussed that injection metallurgy is very important for getting enhanced quality. Now I try to explain why it is so, how it helps. I am mentioning here that injection of calcium, that means if proper amount of calcium can be injected in liquid steel, then it can help in different ways. I will try to explain. The first, we should remember that calcium is gas at about 1600 centigrade of temperature in liquid. That means whatever calcium we inject in liquid steel, it becomes gas, because the vapor pressure is relatively very high, 1.8 atmosphere. That means at 1 atmosphere hardly any calcium will remain in the liquid steel, because the vapor pressure is high. So, calcium will come out in the form of vapor. So, hardly any calcium will be retained in liquid steel. So, what is the way out? Way out is, instead of calcium, we send calcium silicon alloy within the liquid steel. This calcium silicon alloy, which is known as CaSi, which has about 30% calcium. So, instead of 100% calcium, if we send 30% calcium in the form of CaSi, so the vapor pressure will come down, because you know why the activity of calcium is coming down. Here it is pure calcium, here it is 30% calcium only. So, in this process the vapor pressure of CaSi is much less compared to vapor pressure of calcium, which becomes much less than 1 atmosphere. So, it is possible to retain calcium, though some amount of calcium will be lost, because even if the vapor pressure is less than 1 atmosphere, still some amount of vapor of calcium will come out. But if you use CaSi, you know, the loss of calcium will be much less, rather than if you use calcium, which cannot be used at all, because all the calcium will be lost, because the vapor pressure of pure calcium is much higher, 1.8 atmosphere compared to normal atmospheric pressure. So, we use CaSi, calcium silicon alloy, with about 30% calcium and not pure calcium for injection. So, this is the first important issue which we have to remember. Now, how is CaSi injected in steel, liquid steel? This CaSi powder is encased inside steel tube, and then this tube is fed deep inside the liquid bath using feeder. We call it wire feeder. This CaSi powder encased in steel tube, this is wound in the feeder as a spool. So, this then wire, which is basically a steel tube, inside which is calcium silicon powder has been put inside. So, it is a CaSi powder encased in steel tube. It is in the form of a, we call it a wire, which wire is fed through wire feeder deep inside the liquid steel. You know how much of CaSi is used? It is about 2 to 4 kg per ton of steel. This is very important. In what rate this wire should be fed? This is very important. How deep should the wire go? This is also very important, because CaSi is a powder, relatively lighter, it will try to come up. Moreover, I have told you the calcium has a probability of getting coming out of liquid steel because of this low vapor pressure. So, at what speed the spool should rotate, at what speed the wire should get inside the liquid bath, these are all important issues. But the amount of CaSi which is required per ton of steel has been found to be about 2 to 4 kg. You will find that this is more than the theoretical level. Why it is so? Because some amount of calcium will always be lost. So, the yield of calcium from this CaSi addition is not very high. So, therefore, we have to take into account this. Therefore, it has been found out through trial and error that about 2 to 4 kg per ton of steel is required for effective calcium injection. Now, what is the purpose of adding CaSi in steel or calcium in steel? The basic idea is to form liquid inclusion in the form of alumina CaO. We know that alumina has a very high melting point. So, in normal liquid steel temperature of say 1600, 1650, it is solid. I have told you earlier also. This solid creates problem. This will create problem not only during steel making, it might create problem when it is steel is solidified. Then if you have solid alumina inclusions, it might create problem during informability when you are rolling the steel, forging the steel. So, our aim is to convert the solid alumina inclusions to alumina, CaO alumina, then calcium aluminate liquid inclusion. We will come to it how we can make it a liquid inclusion. That means some amount of calcium is necessary. So, this calcium, it will show the dissolved calcium how it will react with alumina inclusion to give rise to generate CaO. So, this CaO will react with alumina inclusion. So, the inclusion will get converted to some combination of CO and Al2O3. So, that is again important, what will form CO, Al2O3, what is their ratio, that is going to dictate whether it will be liquid or solid at the temperature of the liquid steel. Now, please try to see or remember that calcium is reacting with alumina, calcium will also react with sulfur because it is a good deoxidizer, also it a good desulfurizer. That means these two reactions, reaction of calcium with alumina in inclusions, solid alumina inclusions, as well as calcium reacting with sulfur in liquid steel, both are occurring simultaneously. Now, it depends how much of sulfur is present, how much of aluminum is present, which will dictate how much of reaction will take place with alumina, because that is in equilibrium with aluminum, in solution is in equilibrium with alumina as deoxidant. So, the amount of sulfur, aluminum and calcium in liquid steel, oxygen liquid steel, all this will determine what will form, whether it will be solid inclusion, whether it will be liquid inclusion, whether calcium sulfide will form, to what extent, whether calcium aluminate will form, what is their ratio of CaO, Al2O3 in that compound, whether it will be liquid. All these things will be decided based on how much of calcium we are adding, how much of sulfur and aluminum is present in steel. These are very, very important considerations. So, let us now look at the Al2O3 CaO phase diagram. Alumina Al2O3, melting point is very high. So, our liquid steel temperature is around maybe say here, somewhere around here, 1550, 1600, slightly maybe slightly more than 1600, not more than that. So, in this temperature range, if the inclusion has to be liquid, so what should be its constituent? This CaO is represented as capital C, Al2O3 is represented as aluminum for brevity. So, when we are talking of what are the constituents, you look at here, this is Ca, that means 1 molecule of calcium oxide is combined with 1 molecule of Al2O3. So, calcium aluminate CaO Al2O3, which has a melting point of somewhere here, so more than 1600, 1650 or so. So, only this particular compound which is having low melting point, which is around maybe 1350 or 1400. So, it is very clear that liquidus, if you want to bring down the liquidus, we need a very close range of CaO, that means about 45 to 55%. Then only we can get C12 A7 type of compound. So, basically it is 12 CaO 7 Al2O3. So, this has a very low melting point, and this inclusion, if you have this chemistry, this inclusion is liquid. So, our aim is to get liquid inclusion, it should be liquid at steel making temperature. So, the idea is to add CaO, but if you do not add the required amount of CO, it should not be very low. If it is very low, that means that alumina melting point is high. If you go on adding some amount of small CO, the liquidus is coming down, but it is still higher. Only at this particular CO amount, that means when it is 45 to 55%, when C12 A7 type of inclusion is formed, then only we have liquid inclusion. So it is very important that how much of calcium addition is necessary. This is very important. Just like that, we go on adding calcium oxide. If it is very less, it is solid. If it is very high, then also it is a problem. First here I am showing that it is the melting point is going to be high. Another problem is if you have sulfur in liquid steel, which is going to be there, it cannot be, sulfur cannot be 0. If small number, slightly larger amount of sulfur is present, there is a formation of calcium sulfide. I will come to it in the next subsequent slides. So liquid inclusion is feasible only with careful control of calcium addition. I have shown in this slide that calcium is reacting with alumina inclusion and generating CO, and this is reacting with alumina. So CO alumina is forming. The amount of calcium we add, how much of CO will form in the inclusion, it depends on that. It depends on how much of aluminum is present in liquid steel, which will dictate how much of alumina inclusion will be present. So depending on how much calcium we are adding, the ratio of aluminum to calcium will dictate what will be the formula of CaOL2O3. This has to be, as I have told you, CaO12 L2O3 7, then only we get liquid inclusions, then only the melting point of this inclusion is quite low, and then it becomes liquid. So we also do not want calcium sulfide, because calcium sulfide is solid. Therefore, if you have large amount of soluble sulfur in steel and we go on adding calcium, so after formation of this also is going to happen. So it is an equilibrium. Let's try to understand what is happening. If you add calcium, these reactions are happening simultaneously. Now which one will form, to what extent, depends on how much calcium we are adding, how much aluminum and sulfur is there in steel. This will dictate whether there will be calcium sulfide in steel, whether there will be calcium aluminate, and what is the formula of calcium aluminate. The formula will dictate what is the melting point. So all these are important issues. We want calcium oxide in the range of 45 to 55, which will react with alumina to give rise to 12 CO and 7 L2O3, which has very low melting point and makes the inclusion liquid. So the amount of calcium addition, I am again repeating, is very, very important and is related to, it is not independent of the chemistry of steel, it is related to the amount of aluminum and sulfur in steel. Moreover, I have told you earlier that calcium solubility in steel is not very high, because it is very difficult to control calcium in liquid steel. That is why we are adding Ca and we are not adding calcium. Calcium addition, just if you add calcium, is almost impossible, because the vapor pressure of calcium is very high. So all this calcium will be lost as vapor from liquid steel at maybe 1600 degrees centigrade. So we are adding Ca, which has only 30% calcium. Even with the addition of Ca, some amount of calcium is lost as vapor from liquid steel. So the solubility of calcium at 1600 degrees centigrade is only to the extent of 0.25. That means even if we want, we cannot add more than 0.25%, 0.025% calcium in liquid steel. So how much calcium we will add, whether it is 0.1, whether it is 0.2, and what is the amount of aluminum and sulfur in steel, that is going to dictate whether we form liquid steel, liquid inclusion or not in liquid steel. So this is going to be a very important issue. Now this particular figure shows what I was telling, that the calcium and sulfur, aluminium, why all three are important. This particular figure shows for a particular level of calcium, let us say assume that it is 0.2%. We cannot add more than 0.5% calcium. Even if we add, it is going to be lost. That means the liquid slag cannot contain liquid steel cannot contain more than 0.25% calcium at 1600 degrees centigrade. So, how much calcium we will add, whether it is 0.1, 0.15 or 0.2, that is going to play an important role depending on how much of aluminum and sulfur is present in liquid steel. So, for a particular amount of calcium, let us assume that it is 0.2 in this particular figure. So, what is going to happen? Where is the liquid window? Liquid window is here. That means, if percentage of aluminum is more, the possibility of going to a solid inclusion is increasing. Similarly, if the amount of dissolved sulfur is more, possibility of going to a solid inclusion is increasing. Only way if the aluminum and sulfur solubility, or they are soluble in liquid steel, what is their content in liquid steel, they are less, then only we are getting a liquid inclusions for a particular level of calcium. So, this is, please try to remember, for ensuring liquid window for a particular level of calcium, both aluminum and sulfur, dissolved aluminum, dissolved sulfur in liquid steel, they are important. They should not be very high, neither sulfur nor aluminum should be very high. If aluminum is very high, Ca type of inclusions which are solid will form. That means, the solubility, the melting point of the inclusion is going to be high. As I have shown in this particular figure which depicts alumina CaO system phase diagram, if you have very high amount of alumina, the melting point is high. As you are increasing the CaO, melting point is coming down, and at about 45 to 55% CaO, the melting point is relatively less, and at liquid steel temperature, the inclusion will be liquid. So, if we have high amount of aluminum in liquid steel, that means the inclusion will be more rich in alumina, and the inclusion will be solid like Ca and Ca3, Ca2, Ca6, compounds like this will form. But at the other end, if you have more amount of sulfur, what is going to happen? We have solid calcium sulfide. So, that is why both sulfur and aluminum present in liquid steel has to be within limits, then only we have liquid inclusion. This is very important. We have to keep in mind, to get the desired amount of liquid inclusions, calcium sulfide has to be low, and preferably CaO should be around 45 to 55%. Then only we have a combination of alumina CaO, which is having a formula of CaO12, alumina 7, around this level of, that means around 45 to 55% CaO, then only we have a liquid inclusion in liquid steel. So, the importance of aluminum and sulfur for getting this liquid window, I am again highlighting, this is very, very important. So, amount of calcium will depend on how much of aluminum, how much of sulfur is there in liquid steel, to ensure we get liquid steel and not solid steel. Now, again this figure will show similar thing, but in a more relatively quantitative terms. I have mentioned here that inclusion modification by calcium is possible or feasible when, if too low addition if we do, if we add less amount of calcium, what is going to happen? This type of compounds are forming. Ca6, that means CaO6Al2O3, CaO3Al2O3, 2Al2O3, CaOL2O3, this type of compounds are forming. For this, the calcium addition is the lowest, and as you are increasing calcium, these are the compounds which are forming. But we do not want this, we want 7 CaO or 12 CaO 7Al2O3, that means calcium oxide around 45 to 55%. So, this is possible only for a particular level of addition of calcium. Moreover, if you go on adding calcium, that means we are going to higher level in the solubility limit, that means maybe we go to around 0.25 or so, which is a higher limit. We might form, why might we? I will actually form CaS also, depending on there is some sulfur in the steel. So, there is a possibility of forming calcium sulfide, which is again solid. So, just look at this figure. This aluminum is ppm, 200 ppm is 0.2%. So, if you have 0.2% aluminum in steel, what is going to happen? Liquid window is here. So, calcium has to be accordingly somewhere here. If you have low calcium at 0.2, what is going to happen? We have calcium aluminate saturation, that means we have solid calcium aluminate, CaOL2O3 solid. We do not have a liquid inclusion, that means we are having maybe Ca6, Ca, this type of combinations which are having solid. So, we have to have some amount of good amount of relatively more amount of calcium, maybe somewhere here, maybe somewhere 15 amount of ppm is necessary, then only we have good amount of liquid inclusions. Now, look at the sulfur level. This figure has been drawn on the basis of calculations done for liquid steel temperature of 1550, which is quite reasonable, and a total oxygen of 20 ppm. That means oxygen here also is playing an important role, because this dictates how much of oxygen is present, how much of dissolved aluminum will be present to get that much of dissolved oxygen, what will be the sulfur level, this is also important. Now, if we have very low amount of sulfur, say 0.05, you see the liquid window is quite large. So, that means the amount of calcium, the window of calcium is slightly more, that means it can be from 10 to 25, any amount of calcium is good enough. Beyond 25 is not possible to retain, because it will come out of calcium. So, 25, if you take 25 is the maximum amount, so minimum, say let us assume has to be 10. So, the liquid window is indicating for this amount of aluminum, say 0.2 or 0.25, we are getting about say 10 to say 20 or 25, 22, this amount of calcium is good enough. Now, if you increase the sulfur level in the steel, say if you have 0 somewhere here, say 0.20 somewhere here. So, what is going to happen? The amount of calcium has to be restricted to maybe around 15. So, it is very close, 10 to 15. If you have less than 10 ppm calcium, calcium aluminate, whatever calcium aluminate is forming, this type of calcium aluminate which is solid. If you have more calcium, more than 15, for this amount of sulfur, we have calcium sulfide. Beyond this, calcium sulfide is forming. So, as sulfur is coming down, our liquid window is becoming very narrow. So, we have to operate in a very close range of calcium. Look at this figure 0.40. If you have such high level of sulfur, and if you are not careful about adding calcium, what is going to happen? Even 15%, 15 ppm calcium will generate calcium sulfide, which is solid. So, our liquid window is becoming very, very narrow, which is very difficult to actually operate, because when you are doing calcium addition, I have told you, is very tricky. If you add more of calcium, more of it will be lost. So, control of calcium is very difficult. So, control of calcium within this narrow range will be very difficult. That is why we need some lower sulfur for getting a good amount of rather a large amount of liquid window, where we can have slightly more broader range of calcium, where we can get liquid calcium. So, it is important to know that aluminum content, calcium content, oxygen and sulfur, these are all very important parameters for getting inclusion modification. Because as I am again and again repeating, you see the interesting thing here. If you add or do not add or add less amount of calcium, we are getting either alumina or this type of inclusions, Ca6, Ca2, Ca, this type of inclusions. As alumina, as CO is increasing, we are going from Ca6 to Ca2 to Ca, finally we will go to maybe C12, A7 type of inclusion, which is the desirable at around combination of say around 45 to 55% CO. So, as we are increasing CaO in CaO alumina type of inclusion is increasing, and only at a particular level of Ca we are getting a liquid inclusion. But if you go beyond that, that means if you increase Ca, if the sulfur is more, we are going to for calcium sulphide, more and more of calcium sulphide, which is solid. So, our liquid window becomes more narrow, more restricted. If you have more aluminum, if you have more sulfur, this is a problem. Then the calcium has to be within a very small range. So, this is the problem for calcium addition. We have to be very careful how much of calcium we are adding, what is the sulfur content, sulfur should not be more, then we are forming solid calcium sulphide. So, the inclusion is solid, it is not liquid anymore. If you have very small amount of calcium addition, we are getting this type of inclusion Ca6, Ca2, Ca, the melting points are relatively high. So, again we are getting solid. So, if you have less calcium, solid inclusions, if you have more calcium, solid inclusions. The reason here is calcium sulphide, reason here is inclusions of these constituents Ca6, Ca2. So, the reason might be different, but we are getting solid inclusions. So, to get a liquid window, we have to operate at low sulfur level, low aluminum level relatively, and calcium in the range of say about 15 to 20. If we can control calcium, which is very difficult, again and again I am telling, within this range, we will definitely get liquid inclusions in steel. So, please, if we summarize here, too low addition forms high melting constituents, too high addition promotes solid CaS formation. So, calcium has to be optimum depending on what is aluminum, what is the sulfur. Liquid window becomes narrow at higher sulfur, as I am telling you. As the sulfur is increasing this way, the liquid window is becoming, initially liquid window was the whole thing, liquid window has become narrow, more narrow as sulfur is increasing, that is as coming down, the window is becoming more and more narrow. The formation of low melting calcium aluminate phase C12A7, which is the desired constituent which should form. So, the ratio of calcium aluminum is important. What is the aluminum in steel? The calcium should depend on that. What was the sulfur in steel? Calcium also should depend on that, but we have not much leeway here. Sulfur should be low, then only we have certain leeway, then only we have slightly higher range of calcium, optimum calcium. If the sulfur is more, the optimum calcium is very, very narrow, which is very difficult to actually get. So, optimum calcium addition depends on what is aluminum and sulfur in liquid steel. And as I am again and again mentioning, soluble sulfur should be low to get a relatively large liquid window where we can operate, where the calcium range will be reasonable, more practical to get, more realistic to get. I think I have tried to highlight that inclusion modification by calcium is theoretically possible, but we have to be careful about amount of sulfur, amount of aluminum in liquid steel. So, this will dictate how much of calcium range will be there, optimum range will be there for getting liquid window. Less is the sulfur, the optimum calcium range becomes more narrow. So, it is more difficult to obtain, operate at that narrow level of calcium. So, even if you try, we may not get liquid inclusion. So, this is the problem with inclusion modification by calcium. We have to be very, very careful. Our desulfurization should be proper. The sulfur level must be brought down earlier through desulfurization, then only we are adding calcium. This is very important. Deoxidation is first, desulfurization is next. Then I have talked about degassing to take care of oxygen, nitrogen, which is useful or which is effective only when oxygen is less in liquid steel, sulfur is less in liquid steel. Now I am talking about inclusion modification, where again sulfur has to be less, then only inclusion modification by calcium is possible in reality. Otherwise, it is going to be a theoretical proposition only. As I am trying to harp on here, that to get a realistic calcium range, a slightly bigger calcium range, say 10 to 20, if you take this is the realistic calcium range which will give liquid window, the sulfur has to be less than 0.1. 0.1, you see, it cannot exceed 0.1. Aluminum has to be less than 0.25, it cannot be more than that. Otherwise, this liquid window is becoming more and more narrow. So, that is the requirement, that is the essential requirement for getting inclusion modification by using calcium.